shall not be moved.
Hello, welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. I hope you guys are well today on this beautiful Saturday. We're going to do part 2 of what your higher self wants you to know. As we discussed in part 1, this is the season of the blood moon. It is. And we kind of went into a little bit of information around that in part 1. And I'll go ahead and just reiterate that for part 2 about the blood moon that we're entering into on the 7th and the 8th. It's going to be a very significant astrological event that's going to be influential in many different aspects of life, particularly in realms of science, in government or governance. It could be any type of leadership. It could definitely affect government, and then personally with connections and relationships. And during this blood moon, this is really about the lunar eclipse. I did a whole spiel on the blood moon, taking the woo-woo out of the blood moon. All the blood moon is, it sounds very ethereal, but really it's very scientific and practical. It's a total lunar eclipse where it'll be the sun being reflected onto the moon, passing through the earth, presenting a shadow of the sun, causing a reflection of certain aspects of the color scale, and mostly reds, oranges, hues. That's why we see those colors coming out. It really is a scientific occurrence. However, everything that happens in the cosmos is reflective, right? And many times we see those as omens, signs, many times synchronizing different things. The last one was back in March. It was very visible to us here in the northern hemisphere. This time, it'll be prominent across Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, even parts of South America as well. And it'll last for about 80 minutes. That's about an hour and 20 minutes, where we'll see the moon take on this reddish orangish hue that we call the blood moon. Okay. Just basically a reflection of the earth shadow on the moon. Astrologically, this occurrence, this eclipse is significant, as many different cultures will look at it in a certain significance, but it is symbolizing upheavals and, different areas of life, including science. We may see things toppling over in science right now in this particular time, and the collective health as well. There is impacts that it will have globally, and the influence globally will affect nations and, like I said, governance, like leadership roles. Those in those roles may be affected, or just the energy around those roles may be affected heavily. And these positions may be challenged as it pertains to government or public health. There may be challenges that we're experiencing right now. As you look around personally, of course, each zodiac sign will experience the blood moon differently, but it could encourage generally introspection. That's always good. We always see that come out with the blood moon, a deep level of emotional reflection, and a push towards individual reassessment of our goals and even our connections and relationships. There's 3 signs that will be influenced the most that this particular blood moon is interacting with specifically. First is Gemini. Gemini will be enhanced when it comes to communication and them being able to express. That part of them will be enhanced. Taurus is focusing through this blood moon in their connections, in their relationships, and strengthening those bonds. Aries is just basically going to be in a very reflective energy, possibly even zoning in on their personal goals. And so, this blood moon in September 7th through the 8th of 2025 is a spectacle, right? It's something to be seen for those where it will be visible, a celestial spectacle, but it also holds deep astrological significance. This blood moon is definitely, and though we can't see it, doesn't mean that we're not going to be affected by it. Understand that. But it's going to offer opportunities of course, personal growth and reflection and a deeper comprehension, like deeper understanding as it pertains to society. And what has been big leading up to this point is a change, the shift that's taking place energetically, spiritually, and collectively. Like it's going to emphasize those energies. And so engaging with these energies intentionally can absolutely provide a lot of valuable insight when it comes to navigating difficulties that we could be experiencing right now in this time. But the understanding of how these events will impact us personally, we can definitely pull from this energy and harness the energy for our personal growth and personal change and even manifestation. And so we're going to take a look and see what your higher self wants you to know during this time, and see what energies are influencing you right now, and how your higher self wants you to interact and perceive, and maybe even things that you've already been dealing with and are aware of. It may be something being confirmed, but we're going to tap in and see what comes out, what your higher spirit, what your higher self, excuse me, wants you to know. Okay. And I'm using a few oracle decks for the reading. And if I have not said so already, welcome. Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. It's always a pleasure to read for you. My name is Leticia. And if you would be so kind to like, share, comment. If you are subscribing, running across the channel for the first time, feel free. I welcome you, and feel free to hit the bell so you'll be notified if we go live or if we just post new content here as we move forward. Lots of things to enjoy on the channel. And so what does your higher spirit want you to know, your higher self, actually? What does your higher self want you to know right now? And we have just come out of several retrogrades. And so this energy, it may feel very chaotic. It may feel very challenging because we are recovering from some very transformational energies. Yeah. So let's see. What does your higher self want you to know? We have hopeless. Okay. Isolation. Feminine energy. Chaos. Some of these are repeats from the part 1. Apology and toxic. Okay. Some of these cards are repeats from part 1. So if you haven't viewed part 1, you can go back and look at that. That posted late last night. That may resonate as well. And so your higher self is letting you know that all is not lost. Okay. Just to let you know, we're going to start there. You may feel it. You may feel like that. You may feel the weight of the world on your shoulders right now, but understand that all is not lost. For someone, you may even be feeling a sense of rejection, or that you have been, I was getting this energy in the last reading, you've been left out in the cold, or there's something that has happened. You did something and you feel like you're experiencing the ramifications of something self-inflicted. But all is not hopeless. Your higher self wants you to know, just because it feels that way doesn't mean that that's true. Sometimes we can be deceived by our feelings. That's why it's important to be balanced between our head space and our heart space, and not be too much in one area, because we could be, deceived by both if there's not the balance of the other one coming in just to balance it out. And all is not lost if that's how you're feeling. This is just one moment in time. Your higher self wants you to know, and this too shall pass. Okay, this too shall pass. There's something here about feminine energy, being gentle, allowing yourself to sit back and receive. And no, we're not talking about gender. This is not about women or men, right? This is about you being able to sit back and allow yourself to receive what's coming towards you right now. Feminine posture is receiving energy. It's very intuitive. It's soft. It's not aggressive. It's nurturing, right? You may need to kind of sit back and nurture yourself, right? This may be what your higher self is wanting you to do. There's something about taking a moment and allowing whatever needs to come forward right now. This could be nurturing, whatever would be nurturing for you, allowing that to take place. Taking off your If you're somebody, and I'm seeing somebody that just has many different hats that they wear, taking off those hats and allowing yourself to be served. Mhm. If you're somebody that's constantly giving and serving others, your higher self wants you to sit back and allow yourself to receive and to be served right now. This may be a time that feels very energetically scattered. This was also an energy that came out in the last reading, chaos. It feels very, the energy feels very scattered. And if there is a lot of energy that's just hanging around, not really being utilized, you know, that may be something that needs to be addressed. There's a saying that idle hands makes way for devilish actions or something like that. But there's something about energy that maybe not being used that's creating this energy of a scattered feeling, maybe even upheaval, something being toppled over or pulled up from the roots. That's the energy I'm getting. That may be how life feels right now. It doesn't mean like that's what's happening, but you may feel like, everything is just chaotic right now. Maybe you're feeling like it's out of order right now. And that may be true. When spirit gets ready to do a thing, especially when it's a huge thing, sometimes it's necessary to pluck up so that new can be planted. I could think of many times where that's happened in my life, where things have had to be pulled up from the roots. Relationships, jobs, homes, sometimes it needs to be pulled up, uprooted, so that something more stable, more fruitful can be planted. And so that could very well be how you're feeling. That could be the situation. It's also with the understanding that everything will eventually work out, right? As long as you don't give up or give in to that energy of hopelessness, right? Just understand that things happen for a reason. Like, see it through. Wait and see what the end is going to be. I feel like is what your higher self is saying to you right now. You may feel like someone owes you an apology, or that there's someone involved in your situation that feels very unapologetic and very irrational, that may have very boastful, arrogant ways, and is very insincere, that keeps a lot of drama going, keeps arguments. Somebody that just likes, that's this energy of chaos, right? Somebody that just likes to keep things going. They like a drama-filled environment. And someone who is incompatible. But what I'm hearing is that it's not that they're incompatible. It's just that they like the drama. They like standing in a position of offense to keep that drama going. It's something that's done intentionally, right? So there may be someone that's mixed in with your energy right now that your higher self wants you to be aware of. There's something about this energy that your higher self wants you to be aware of their intentions. You could be feeling like this person owe you an apology. It's not really necessary, right? Your higher spirit may want you to move forward. Give yourself the apology you're waiting for so that you can move forward. It's really not that necessary. It's not, your higher self wants you to know it's not something that you need to be successful, right? Sometimes it is what it is, and you just leave it right as it is. And you don't have to be the fixer, is what your higher self is saying. You can only fix yourself. That's the only person you're responsible for. Now, on the other hand, if this is you in your energy, if you are the one that enjoys drama and toxicity and chaos, your higher self is bringing this up. This may be something that it's time to heal. Yeah, this may be something that it's time to heal. But that's what I'm getting here to start. It does feel like very heavy energy that your higher spirit is bringing out here. And if this is not your energy, this could be someone that you are connected to. What does my viewer What does their higher self want them to know? We're going to go ahead and pull from our oracle deck, our mushrooms oracle deck. Take a look. What does your higher self want you to know? And you know what? I'm not getting a sense of this being something negative. Like sometimes these energies are very much energies that we operate in and we don't even realize it. Like we could be a product of our environment that said that these energies are very much normal until we experience something different or see something different. We don't know any different, you know? And so if this is someone that you're dealing with, this is your higher self wanting you to understand like the root of what's happening here. If this is you, again, the understanding of the root of what's happening here. So for the mushrooms, what I have is the fairy end cap, which brings in the energy of subtlety. I know you probably can't see these well. And then we have shiitake, which brings in the energy of nourish. And lastly, we have blue. Oh, this is an interesting word. Laratomyces, which is discovery or unknown things. Blue Laratomyces. I've never heard of that one. Interesting. Blue Laratomyces. So we're starting off with the fairy end cap, which happens to be a master number 22. And I think this is, 22, if I'm not mistaken, is all about a master educator, I want to say. This life path number, or it's the master builder is what it is, embodying enormous potential to manifest grand practical visions into reality. And so this is someone who's able to blend intuitive visions and immerse power to organize resources and inspire people toward large scale products. And it does require tremendous discipline. It could also lead to significant frustration, right? And if it's not realized, this is usually someone who's charismatic, who has very visionary leadership skills, and who's able to bridge abstract ideas with tangible results. But there is a challenge that Master Life Path number 22's experience. They have to overcome internal and external limitations so that they can live up to these extraordinary capacities or capabilities, right? And so it's the challenge for the master number 22 is external and internal, dealing with chaos, basically, or disorganization. And so the master number 22 could be significant. You could be a master number 22. This could be a number that you see very often that has attached itself to your reality in some type of way. But overall, the fairy end cap is a mushroom that your higher self is bringing before you to let you know how fragile reality is. There's the understanding that your higher self wants you to understand things can come and things can go as quickly as they came. In the blink of an eye, things can change, right? They are letting you know, your higher self is letting you know that one day you can have things or have someone, or things can be a certain way, and the very next day it could be completely opposite, or whatever that was there can be completely gone. Fairy end cap, the word fairy is coming out for me. So there's something here about fairies. The energy is very delicate and very imaginative. It's very fairy-like, and it's subtle. It's giving me that feminine energy that came out that your higher self is trying to draw in for you. This subtle energy is really here to induce this very magical, creative atmosphere. And if we're not careful, we'll miss it. Okay, we'll miss it if we're not careful. So I guess your higher self may want to ask you, have you been noticing like these very subtle energies around you? Or are you too busy Are you too busy to see it, right? Your higher self is bringing up the fairy end cap to let you know that many things can come in a small package, but they represent very massive change, very massive shifts. And this could also be your higher self reminding you the power of subtlety. Like you don't have to, many times I always talk about a message that is most powerfully demonstrated through our being. Like we don't have to shout from the rooftops to get a message across. Some of the most powerful messages are demonstrated in just being, by representing, right? And your higher self is kind of bringing that energy here for you to see the subtlety right now in this moment is what is key. And it could be so very powerful right now. And they may want you to try just being subtle. And you could be receiving messages from people that seem very small and insignificant or subtle, but there's something there. Are you hearing what they're saying, right? Are you tapped in or are you distracted while this message is being communicated? Because a lot of wisdom, we can gain a lot of wisdom by just looking, by observing, and by feeling the subtle energy that exists all around us. When we look at out in nature, we're talking about fairy energy, which is very much nature-oriented energy. We look at the plants, the trees, the flowers. They're all giving off this very subtle energy. And we look at people, we look at animals, pets, and places. They may give off sudden energy as well. But it's energy that we can only get, we can only sense it if we're tuned into it or paying attention to it. Sometimes it requires that we get quiet enough to hear it because it's so subtle. So fairy NCAP is coming in because your higher self is telling you to slow down for a moment. Slow down for a moment and create the energy of stillness and mindfulness. Even create a practice for these things. I feel like your higher self is wanting you to create a practice of stillness and mindfulness, which says that you may be getting all kinds of signs and synchronicities coming to you all the time that may be going right over your head because you're moving so fast, because life around you is so loud and chaotic that you're missing it because of that. And because you're missing it, you're missing a lot of wisdom that you're supposed to have. You may, in fact, be someone that's going out looking for certain wisdom and knowledge when it's already coming to you. You don't have to look for it. You just have to get still and quiet enough to receive it. And your higher self is letting you know you are being called into this feminine energy of being able to sit back and receive. It's passive energy, receiving energy. And your higher self wants you to be willing to receive it, not necessarily go out and get what you are looking for, knowledge-wise, wisdom-wise, it's already coming in. You just have to position yourself to receive it and be ready to listen and take it in, because again, it's subtle. And before you know it, it's gone. It's there 1 minute, beckoning for you to listen and receive it. And then the next thing you know, it's gone. Okay. That's the first thing that your higher self is saying. Get still, get quiet, receive, listen, tune in, tap in, pay attention, take note. The second energy is the Shiitake energy, which is all about nourishment. Nourishment. I can't help but think that there's something that needs to be nourished. There's something missing. And nourishment can come in many different forms. Your higher self may want you to eat better, right? That's one way. Eat things that make your body, your heart happy, that makes it sing. Your higher self may want you to Change how you are giving your energy out. If it's leaving you depleted, right? Whatever you're doing energetically, there may be a need to replace that with something that will not take all of your energy. You may need to do something to replenish your energy. Are you tending to your energetic garden, to your spiritual garden? It could be a physical garden. Are you tending to your surroundings physically? Are you tending to your spiritual surroundings, your internal being? And so this just brings up the energy of having a lack somewhere. Like you can't be nourished if you're starving parts of your life out, right? Are you hungry for something? Have you been yearning for something? That may be it too, that your higher spirit, your higher self is bringing up here. The need to feel something, fill a void in your life or give it more attention. This might even be you just taking note, sitting down to take stock of areas of your life that need more attention or more nourishment here. It could be physical, right? It could be emotional. It could be spiritual. It could be mental. It could be creative wise, right? This is a need to sit down and really do an assessment and take note of what needs more attention and nourishment in your life. This could even pertain to your relationships. It is a number 3, which is the number of creativity or giving birth to new things. And so it could be relationships with people. It could be your pets, your plants. Yeah, something needs nourishment. And so this might be a time to really tune in and take a look, take an assessment to see where you could give more attention. What's needing attention in life right now? Your higher self is bringing this out. It could be you needing to give yourself more attention, more time, more space, more affection. And I can't help but this idea of creativity is coming out really strong. Have you started something new and then you put it to the side? Your higher self wants you to pull that thing back off of the shelf, because whatever that was giving you life. It was helping you to pour back into yourself. And so that thing needs to be pulled back on the shelf, and you need to start pouring attention back into it. Because when you do that, your higher self is saying you are pouring back into yourself, which is replenishing what you've lost, what you've poured out. Yeah. This is beautiful. And so if you're someone who's been thinking of starting a new project, this is allowing yourself time and space to do that. If you're not sure where to start, your higher self wants you to sit down and nourish yourself so that you will find where to start. That's going to come by nourishing yourself. Because whatever this is, this creativity, you being able to pour back into yourself, this is what's needed for you to feel whole. If you're noticing gaps in your life, this is going to fill those gaps and make you feel whole. It's going to allow you to feel a sense of wholeness here. Okay. And then we have this weird one, the blue Lauratiomyces. I hope I'm saying that right. I've never heard of this one. Lauratiomyces. And you know what it looks like? It looks like a funnel cake. You know how they do those funnel cakes? The only thing is that it's blue. This is all about discovery. This is all about finding out what is not known. And it's not edible. It doesn't look edible either. But there's something waiting on you to discover it. Your higher self is saying, you are about to step into something unknown. And when this happens, your higher self don't want you to move into it with assumptions, though, of what it's going to be like. Like your higher self wants you to step into this new energy, into the space of the unknown with an open mind and with an open heart, and let things kind of pull your expectations off of it so that it can unfold in the way naturally, in the way that it's supposed to, without expectations. Sometimes that when that happens, it unfolds so much better without us guiding our expectations on it. And your higher self is saying, there's something about this that's not supposed to be known. And so don't feel pressured to have to feel like you know or put your expectations on it. You're not supposed to, right? It's supposed to unfold naturally, organically, okay? With this particular mushroom, there's something your higher self wants you to experience. And the fact that you're not able to control it may even cause you to see this as something negative. Or you could find something positive in it. It's going to be something unpredictable. But the whole idea around this is that it's important and that you're supposed to go through this. You're meant to experience this. And if for some reason things don't turn out the way that you thought or the way that you thought they're meant to be, avoid looking at it negatively and just be thankful for the situation. Your higher self wants you to be thankful. There's something about experience, not result, that your higher self wants you to be focused on here. This is about the experience of a thing, not an end result, okay? You may not even be sure why you're going through this or why you need to experience this, why it's happening. That may be the situation you're in right now, right? If you are the one in this very chaotic environment, chaotic energy, you're like, well, why? What is this? Why am I experiencing this? There's something about your higher self wanting you to know that there's something about going through this and being thankful because there's something you're learning through this. It could be something about learning a specific pattern. And it may not be revealed until later, right? But there's something about needing to go through an experience, not judging, but just being grateful for the experience. And this may, in fact, be like a building block or a stepping stone that's going to connect you to the next piece. If you could see, I'm hearing your spirits, your higher self say, if you could see the whole plan or the whole path, then you would be tempted to control it or to skip parts of it, right? That's why you can't know. You just have to kind of develop a sense of faith for this process is important, okay? As you move forward and take what may feel like a step at a time as it's being revealed. Yeah. For some of you, this could be that, it's being withheld because if you knew, it could feel very overwhelming to you. And so taking that step-by-step approach, maybe a lot less worrisome for those of us that are like anxious style. And so there's something about your higher self letting you know that how this is unfolding. You stepping into the unknown is, in a sense, like protecting you through this process. As long as you follow your intuition, your higher self is saying that you won't be led astray. And to stay balanced logically and emotionally when you're making decisions, so that you don't override your intuition, the process of your intuition. Yeah. There's going to be lots of choices that you'll have, lots of different paths that you're going to have available to you. And so your higher self wants you to get comfortable and know that's going to be necessary to use your intuition when making decisions. And be strong. Know that you're strong. Be confident in your abilities and trust yourself, okay? The unknown is approaching here for someone, and it's going to provide many gifts for you, okay? So you may be being prepared here as you sit in this very chaotic energy. It's almost like purifying the ground, purifying the situation, the circumstances, so that you can step into the next phase, which is the unknown, okay? What we just talked about. What does we're going to pull from our portal oracle deck. and find out what portals are opening through this energy for you. I'm just going to pull a couple here. What does your higher self want you to know about the spaces you are entering right now? Beyond fear and land of dreams. Okay. Beyond fear is one of the portals that your higher spirit is bringing to your attention. The other one is land of dreams. Beyond fear is one of my favorites in this book. It shows a man skydiving and up with the clouds, right? And it's all about understanding the fact that sometimes we have to do it afraid. Just because we are heroic doesn't mean that we don't feel fear, we don't feel doubt, right? We don't feel imposter syndrome, but we feel it and we do it anyway, is what your higher self is saying with beyond fear, right? It doesn't mean that you won't be afraid when you are called to do things or when you step into the unknown, when you jump out of that airplane to skydive. Yeah, you'll feel fear probably every time that you do it. But stepping beyond that, it's acknowledging the fear, but taking action anyway. Your higher self is letting you know it's time to take this kind of action. Okay. It's not about getting, the excitement rush, the adrenaline rush, or just taking a risk just because you can. That's not what this is about. But it's about being brave and doing something that puts you in an awkward situation, but doing it because it needs to be done. Doing it because something needs to be protected or rescued, or there's something that needs to be secured, right? And so this is almost like a call to action. Your higher self wants you to know you are going to be called, if you have not already, to step beyond your fear. You're going to be called to do something that presents a risk, to do something where you're going to have a present level of danger or fear that you'll have to face. But the calling to do what it is you're called to do is going to need to be smaller than the fear of doing it, or maybe the fear around doing it. Maybe you're fearful of the responses you're going to get, or the reactions, or the challenge that will come along with it, right? So there's something that your higher self is preparing you for. When it comes to putting yourself out there and being unique, being vulnerable in a way that really does cause us to feel a little bit scared when we're communicating, with others from a very vulnerable heart space, or we're doing something that we feel may step on toes or be frowned upon, but we're doing it from our sense of authenticity. It's coming from a heart space. And it could be something like that or something similar. Your higher self could be just confirming that what you're already doing, that courageous thing you're already doing is, yeah, it's in line with what you're being called to do. And so there's something, when this card comes out, usually we're being asked to do something, or maybe even confront ourselves and ask ourselves the difficult questions. Like, what would I do if I didn't have fear around doing it? Or, what is important to me here and how can I protect it, right? What am I willing to do to protect it? Yeah. So there could be some specific questions that we're being posed to ask ourselves. And it could be questions that cause us to really face our fear. Sometimes we don't want to do something because we want to avoid attention or exposure or possible loss or some type of emotional pain that might result from it. Um, Maybe it's confronting ourselves. There's something we feel like we want to do, but it's like, can I really do it? We're asking ourselves, can we do it? Right. But it's facing the fear of that thing, however it shows up. It's being able to have that discussion with ourselves to confront those energies that will bring up that fear. Because whatever is important to you, it could be a relationship, a career, it could be our passions in life. Whatever is important, we're going to have to deal with some level of fear at some point. If it's important, it's going to cause us to have to make significant decisions that involve risks. That's just part of life. For instance, this energy that popped up here is one that I would consider less likely, but what are we willing to do to change it? Is it requiring us to walk away, to set some boundaries, to say no to ourselves, right? To acknowledge sometimes that we are this energy that keeps it going. Are we willing to really implement changes necessary? Possibly that might cause us to have to do a whole 180 shift and change everything, which means we'll have to say no to others, to ourselves, right? Are we willing to risk? That's the question. Those are questions we may be being asked by our higher self right now. Because anything that we hold important is going to come with some risk. If we didn't care, then it wouldn't matter either way, right? It's like when we really don't care for something, it doesn't matter either way, whether it comes or goes, whether we have it or not. It's not even relevant. It's not even an issue. And so, but when we do care for a thing, it will come with requirements, and it will cause us to have to step beyond what we fear in order to take action. And so beyond fear, this is your higher self letting you know that you're stepping into a space that's going to require for you to take risks, for you to face some part of what will present itself as fear in order for you to move right into this next part of your life. That's going to be very rewarding from what I hear. It's that part that you're not going to be able to control because you're not going to know what's coming next. It's going to require for you to step out and trust yourself first and foremost, and then trust that your creator, the universe, has your very best interest at heart, and everything is happening just as it should be. And it's allowing yourself to do it afraid, right? Every time I step out on stage, I do it afraid, with my knees knocking. With one of the things that helps me is I will imagine and I will acknowledge the host of ancestors that supported me in my life, that came before me, that stand supporting me in the spirit realm. And I feel supported divinely. And that helps me to step into my power, to step into the unknown, to face my fear. It's not just me, but it's me along with a host of others that came before me that empower me, right? We do it. Many times we do it afraid, right? But the whole idea is that we do it. We step into this place of power, no matter what it looks like, no matter what the cost. We take the risk, right? And so that is the energy that your higher self is preparing you for. So whatever this is, they're saying, your higher self is saying, get ready, because it's going to cost something. And it may be you stepping outside of your comfort zone, okay? And then we have 19 coming through with Land of Dreams. Your higher self is letting you know that there's something about what you've been dreaming that's key here. What you've been dreaming, and that could be literally dreaming when you're asleep. It could be your visionary abilities to visualize, because you came out as a 22, which says that you could be someone who is a visionary, who works to bring the ethereal down into the physical. There's something about you being very skilled and talented in that way. Mhm. And so, with Land of Dreams, your higher self is letting you know um, that this is key. The dream, the vision is key here because this is the area where anything is possible. Anything is possible. Matter of fact, this is the place where many things are being done for you. In your dream, in the vision, is where the healing is taking place for you. This is where the problems are being, the solutions are being given to you. And going back to that subtle energy, not to take it lightly, what you're dreaming about, what you are, the visions that you are perceiving, right? Spirit is saying, don't take that lightly. Your higher self is bringing that up here so that you don't dismiss it. Because though it may seem subtle, it's like, oh, it's just a dream, but it's not. It's subtle, but it's something that you need to take note of because it holds potency. That very small thing, that very small piece of information being given to you is the key to unlock healing. It's the solution to your problems being given to you. For some of you, it is the process that's being given to you that connects you to what you've learned and your experiences during the day. And they're being integrated mentally into creative ways for you to utilize. Some of the best storylines, some of the best fairy tales, some of the best pieces of art, of creativity are actually created in the dreamscape. They're dreams, they're visions, and then they're brought into the world. I many times will dream of music, composures of music, and then I would wake up and be like, dang it, should have wrote that down. It'd be elaborate pieces of music I would experience in the dream world. And then I would wake up and try to translate that into reality. Some of my songs actually did come from my dream. And I woke up and was able to record it and write it down and build on those very small pieces of information and turn them into whole songs. And so there's something about this energy being transitioned from the dream into the world. There's something being given to you that your higher self wants you to take seriously and not to dismiss. Okay. And so give attention to it. Your higher self wants you to pour your attention to what you're dreaming because there's something there. There's something that's key to your dreams that's going to give you information. It's going to give you direction and guidance. It's going to give you things that you need to be aware of, even about yourself, right? Things that you need to know. Your dreams can also open up different doors to, I'm hearing wealth as well, and romance, doors to happiness and success. There's something being given here in your dreams that your higher self is pointing you to. And so it's important to make sure that you're resting well, that you hold your sleep patterns at a high priority, so that what is being translated has enough time, number one, to be translated, and two, that you will be in position, you'll be in a healthy state to be able to receive this information. And so keep your eye on what's happening in your dreams, okay? Your higher self wants you to do that. Even pour energy into it. You may want to create some type of sleep routine before you go to sleep. Prepare a restful space, like pour energy into the area that you sleep in. Create it. Make it comfortable, make it peaceful and serene. You may need to make sure that the light is not peeking through at the crack of dawn. Make sure it's complete darkness, or put on those iPads, like, so you don't see any light. Remove electronics from your room. while you're asleep, so there's not the interference with the frequency. Your higher self may want you to remove the phones and the computers and the iPads out of your sleeping space so that there's no interruption with your sleeping frequency. And or just put it on airplane mode. You could do that too. You may need to change your eating patterns right before you go to sleep, or engage in physical exercise right before you go to sleep or sometime during the day. Cut back on caffeines, things like that. So there's something about sleep and about your dreams your higher self wants you to know here is very important, to take it seriously, to create routines around sleep, because there's some wealth that lies in your dreams, in your visions. Okay. And to follow up on them. Don't just allow the dreams to take place, but absorb them. Follow up on them when you wake up. Try to get information. If you wake up confused, ask for clarity about what it is and what you're supposed to do with them. It's almost like your higher self wants you to take your dreams seriously. You may be someone who taps into even, other realms when you're dreaming. For some of you, it could be astral traveling to different places and finding out things and discovering things. It's something about a lot of energy happening in the dream and a lot of information being translated over to you in the dream. So much so that you need to make this a full-time practice and take it seriously. Okay. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of tarot. So what is the advice for my viewer as we close this out? What is the advice for my viewer? Yeah, you could definitely be someone who was tapped into reading number 1. I'm seeing a couple of repeat energies. So the Eight of Swords comes out here with the Hermit, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. So first of all, don't limit yourself. Your higher spirit wants you to know that right now, as it may stand, you may be your biggest challenge. The challenge is not outside of yourself. You actually may be your biggest challenge. You may be standing in your own way. Your higher self wants you to know that. You may be telling yourself that you can't change things. You don't have any choice but to be the way things are and you're trapped, but that's not actually true. There's something about the story that you're telling yourself that may need, right, that energy of facing some fear. What would happen if you stop telling yourself that story? Then you would have to take action. That's what would happen. But the fear of not knowing, the fear of having to act, right? Maybe what's keeping you kind of like in this position of feeling like, oh, I can't, or because of this, you keep telling yourself this same story that keeps you feeling like you don't have any choices when actually you do. You can make a different choice. And no, it's not going to be something where you can control it and you can see where it's going to end. It is going to cause you to have to step into an unknown energy. However, you can make the choice to do that, right? To come up with a different result. And so this is something about your higher self bringing to your attention, like there's a fear of change here, fear of the unknown. And almost like the pretense of not being able to, your hands are tied, you're stuck, but actually that's not true. It's just a story that we've been telling ourselves. Your higher self wants to free you from the binds that you have wrapped yourself with, but they're not really binds. It just looks that way. Also, the Hermit is needing time it's needing to take time alone. And to actually move forward in a more independent space. This is you taking your light into your own hands. And it may be taking your power back, yeah. This may require you to seek assistance or counsel from those that are wiser than you. It's always recommended to surround yourself with a plethora of different counselors, people that can give wisdom, okay? But you are being guided to move into or move more independently, not necessarily in an independent space, but you taking responsibility for your light, basically, is what your higher spirit, your higher self is saying. It's time. There is something about reciprocation with others, coming into agreements or situations where not only will you be pouring out, but others will be pouring into you. You'll be supported with whatever you need. When you step out into the unknown, spirit has to come in and support you. Know that. Your higher spirit wants you to know you will be supported. When you overcome that fear and step out into the unknown, all of the resources that you need will come in to support you in this new energy that you step out into, okay? And to know that you have everything that you need with the Nine of Cups. This could be something that you've asked for. Have you asked for change, for something to change, to experience something new, or something different, to step out of this chaotic situation or energy? You asked for this. Not only could it be that your higher self wants you to know this is the answer to your prayer, but look around and see just how fortunate you are right now. Even in the midst of the chaos, you look around and you have everything that you need to take the next step, to move forward. Okay. And this may be the energy you step into when you decide to step out of this place where you are right now. It's the Nine of Cups, which is very beautiful energy. Lastly, I'm going to pull a card of inspiration from my Gods and Goddesses empowerment deck. And so this is from Tiamat, the great mother of all gods. And it says, destruction precedes creation. Okay, I'm going to say that again, because that's this energy that we're in, that your higher self is pointing out to you from the beginning all the way to the end of this reading. Destruction precedes creation. So there has to be something that's tore down, that's plucked up from the root. It has to be completely destroyed before something new can come in and be created. Release your attachment to the limiting beliefs that once fed you, so you may explore above and beyond where your umbilical cord will allow you to roam. Right now, you are on a limited, like you have a ceiling. You have placed yourself in a position where you can only go so far away from the source that you've attached yourself to. But your higher self is asking you to release yourself from that old source, because there's a new source that comes in to support you that is unlimited, that is not restrictive in how you can move or where you can move. And so allow yourself to be released from it so that you can explore above and beyond where you're allowed to go right now. Find a safe space where you can let your stormiest dragons express themselves. Crack the veneer of ordinariness and let your tears feed the sacred rivers of the world. Yes. And you know what this says to me? This says to me that you are an experience waiting to be had. Okay? You are waiting to have the experience that is you. And it's not waiting on you. And you're not waiting on it. Excuse me. It's waiting on you to step out, to say yes. Okay? I love that for you. That's beautiful. This is for you. This is what your higher spirit wants you to know. Your higher self. I'm going to say your higher self and spirit wants you to know here today. Okay? There is so much more waiting. And it's going to be different than what you've experienced. And it's going to necessitate a total overhaul, a release of what has been, so that you can be open to receive what wants to be, what can be. The things that dreams are made of, who knew that they were actually real? That they were actually things given to us for us to actually grab onto and pull down from the ethers into our experience. Who knew? Your higher spirit, your higher self did. And they're letting you know that here today. Okay. This message is for you. If it resonates, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you feel led, hit the bell if you find yourself subscribing, and we'll see you next time. This was part 2 of what your higher self wants you to know. I hope you enjoyed this message. If you have questions, or if you want to delve into this energy for yourself and find out what your higher self wants you to know personally, you can email me, you can message me, and we'll get together and we will definitely look into the energy coming out around your higher self. Okay. I would love to. Just say the word, let me know. This energy is amazing. And it's beautiful, and it's giving life. And so let me know if you'd like a personal. Okay. I'm going to end it there. Enjoy the rest of this weekend. Blood Moon Oracle here. Leticia is my name, and I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye.